That will go. Hey, we are live. Hey, good evening, LinkedIn. It's Sunday night. Do you know where your kids are? That just came out, Joanne. Do you,
What just came out?
do you know where your children are? Remember that saying? Do
Yes.
you know where your children are? You know, and that happens to be the subject of the show tonight. Hey, we got a great subject with Joanne Papric here. We're going to talk about. We're going to say young adults living at home till what? 26, maybe even more.
Well, and
So a
30s
little bit more.
yeah.
All right, we'll be right back after this video. Hey, how you doing, Joanne?
Hi, how are you?
All ready for the holidays?
Somewhat, a little
I
bit.
know, right?
How about you?
Yeah, I think I got the stocking stuff. I gotta get one more gift. That's it. I'm done. I'm
I
off
just,
this week, so it's kind of nice when you can take that stress.
that's
Um,
true. I think 2 days before Christmas is when I'm probably going to be ready.
knowing you,
Yeah,
yeah, from being
last
from New
minute
York or
destination.
wherever you're from, we got Joel in the house already. All right, Joel.
What's up,
Now
Joe?
be easy on Joanne tonight, all right? So she's, we've done a couple of shows before, and she's right in Pennsylvania also here. So it's kind of nice. We've known each other for a while, and we decided to start a show. Hopefully, that we get it all together on Sunday nights with different kind of subjects. But this subject tonight is something. Uh, I saw it on Fox News, and I said it was like children and young adults living at home till they're like 26 and even higher. And I knew you're going to stay up to their 40s. But if you had to take a guess, Joanne, what do you think a lot of it comes down to? Why young adults? There's a lot of reasons why. We're going to go over all those reasons, from divorce to losing jobs to losing spouses. But what do you think the main thing is?
I think the main thing is cost of living.
Yeah.
Cost of living. But I think that if we weren't taxed so much, I think
Oh, geez, here we go. I knew you were going to hear
hey,
that.
Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh Valley, Joel. So the cost.
Cost of living. I mean, I think that I know that the average rent is a little over 2,000. That's the average rent a month. And what is the average pay that people probably bring home is what, 3,000 maybe if they bring
Yeah.
a month average income.
Yep.
So yes, and with taxes taken out, how can someone afford it? The cost of living is so high. It's almost like you have no choice really but to move back home because you can't afford the lifestyle
When I
either.
look back, and I always say back in the 90s or back in the 80s, when all four of us brothers, we all went in the military. So at 18, we had left the house, but we had to come back,
Right.
just to stay with our parents when we got back, because you didn't have nowhere to go. But the goal was you got out, and it only took us a couple months. But then I look back, I remember making $10 to $12 an hour back in the 80s, working at the paper mill as a manager. And then you made really good money, and the rent was only $500 some dollars a month.
Yeah.
And as a 20-some-year-old, you moved out of your parents' house. You wanted to get out of your parents' house, and that was the way it's supposed to be. Go to school, get a job, move out. Parents open their bedroom up, do whatever they want to do now. But
Right.
that seems like that dream is just over.
Yeah. Things were affordable. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl that my mom, 4 kids, our rent was 300 a month in a 3-bedroom apartment in Queens, New York.
In New York.
Yeah. I mean, you could afford that. So you could just have the husband working, mom stays home with the kids. He's out making a living. We had food on the table. We had cars. There was no issue, and everybody was home. We were all eating. It was a big. There was no stress about making ends meet, and both parents having to work, and then the kids having to go get a job. It it was affordable. The
It
cost of
was,
living
and
was fair. Now it's just ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. We have Kenny Dunner in the house now. He's on Facebook. Kenny,
What's up,
be
Kenny?
easy. Kenny is the slaver, and then we got Mike. This is my brother. I don't think you met Joanne yet, Mike.
What's up,
Mike,
Mike?
he's having a good time where he's at right now. I'll explain that to you,
Good.
but he's doing great. But when I look back and when you see 21, 25, 26, 30
Mhm.
living at home, because you can tell when you ask somebody, hey, where do you live? And they still at home, you're like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Why? Why are you living at home at 26 to 28?
Right. Well, let's take a lot of different scenarios. I think there's different reasons why people, and I think you know about when I was young living at home, my parents were divorced. I
Yep.
was one of four. So we all lived at home together with my mom and we helped with all the bills. So we
Yep.
contributed. So we were like roommates. So we were there together till our late 20s, early 30s, till we got married.
Right. Well,
So I mean, that's one reason people could still be living at home with their one a parent or parents, to help out.
to help out on the parents.
Yeah.
Thurston says, early on, it's rough then and now. I went back home 2 times. Generations are different now, too, though. They aren't forced out like Dave and I were. And he's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Was I forced out? No, but I could kind of tell that my dad was like, all right, you've been here long enough.
yeah.
It's time to go. But things again, I always, we look back at differently. Example, you said housing. When you're talking $1,500 to $2,000 a month in this area, in our area, and that's for a basic what? One bedroom, two,
Yes, a bedroom. Yeah,
if you're lucky. And
yeah.
that's only gone really high. So how take if you have a daughter, she's 18, all right, she doesn't go to college, let's just say. She gets a job, an entry level job, right?
Mhm.
How, even at 15 to $18 an hour, how do you expect your child to go out besides saving the money? Now, I think really responsible parents, which kind of take that charge your child rent,
Mhm.
I believe in that. They need to charge. That's just me.
Right.
And then you give it, then you save it up, and then you might, you could give it back.
Mhm. You just teach them some responsibility.
Because some
Right.
of the kids want to live at home, right? They don't want to go. They have their cell phones. Let's face it, cell phones are almost a freaking car payment now.
Yes.
Some
You have
people
a car
pay
payment, insurance.
insurance, your car. I put the groceries, the gas. How is a young lady or a young person supposed to go out on her own?
Right.
How? It doesn't the money doesn't add up. It doesn't almost
Most
add
of the
up.
time, parents help their kids. They'll give them a percentage. They'll give them some money. They'll pay for some of their bills. I know people who are in their 30s that live on their own, and their parents still pay their car payment and their cell phone bill to help them out.
Right. And Mike's right. Mike, you're right. Now, Lee, up in your Easton, it was $450 a month. Can you imagine, Joanne, going on Facebook and seeing an apartment in your area or a house for $1,000 rent or $700 a month? You'd probably be like, "What the hell's wrong with it?"
Right, right, right. No, they're all right now. Even these apartments that by my house, they're 25. They start at 2,500, one bedroom.
Yeah.
So that's expensive.
Thurston, I didn't have insurance
39.
until I
Yeah,
was 32. Well, if you think about that, Thurston, right now, what you can keep your child if they're at home, Joanne, I think up to 26.
it's 27, right?
26 or
It's
27 years
27.
old, to where if they live at home
Yeah.
and they're in college, even if they're in college, they stay on your
Yes.
health insurance, because that's another thing right there. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
add your college bills, add all that, your heat, your electric, everything goes on. We all know what we pay,
Yeah.
but how? So what do you
Well,
what is, as a parent, how are you going to set your child up for success going forward? Like, what are you going to do?
right.
It's got to be tough. I mean, I don't know. It's hard.
It's hard because not everybody has the know-it-all of financially how to set up your kid at a young age. And if your parents working hard, you don't sometimes have that extra money to save
Yeah.
to even teach your kid how to do it. Unless these kids start going to work at, 10, 11 years old, and you take their money from that point on, whatever it is, a paper route, babysitting, whatever it could be. working at a candy store, and then they teach them how to save. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have, not everybody's knowledgeable on how to do that. I mean, I was looking up some stuff, and it says in the 1940s,
Right.
what's happening right now with the amount of people that are moving back home or still living at home between these ages of 18 and 26 was the same in the 1940s.
That was during the Depression, right?
But yeah, but it was for different
I saw
reasons.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it says now
50%.
this, yeah, and it's 45% of people now between the ages of 18 and 19 living at home.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, you're better off sending them out to college until they're 26 and just paying their bills. You know,
College is far more expensive. That's another thing, college. So here's another thing that's terrible. Why is college 90 grand, 70 and 90 grand a year, right? So these kids are coming out with debt.
yeah.
They have to pay that off as well, in addition to apartment, food,
Right.
phone, home, and we don't. This isn't the city life. Like if you're living in a suburban type of,
Oh my God.
you're not in the city. You need a car. You need
Yeah.
a car. I didn't get a brand new car until I was 30. That was my 30th birthday present to
Now
myself.
everybody has one.
Now everyone has one, and I had
Everybody
piece
has
of garbage cars. Can I say piece of shit cars? Like real garbage cars that every year I had to change, and I would be stuck on a highway somewhere or on a
one.
bridge. That's
Thorsten
how
says,
old
my
it
daughter lives with my mom now and she's 25, lived on her own 2 years now. She learned some after college. Yeah, I don't blame children. I really don't, young
Yeah,
adults, because no matter what, you sit there and do the numbers, even at $50,000 a year, one person, just one,
yeah,
not two. Now you got two people, that's a little bit different. But I wouldn't know. You'd have to set them up to succeed with some kind of financial advisor, something. At
yeah,
least educate them to say, listen, this is what you're going to need to get out of your house.
yeah,
This is what you're going to need to be able to get that. Because I was even looking when you said about the rent, it even says that they want almost 2 months rent now up front.
yeah.
So now you're
Well, they
talking
want
3 months worth
plus security.
plus security. Yeah.
Security plus 2 months. So you have to come up. So if the rent is 2,000, you have to come up with $6,000
How?
put down,
And
right?
there's nothing wrong. Like I look at when I say an entry level job, even an educated job starting out, when you get out of college, you're making not making those huge bucks to where in the city where you were in New York. Can you imagine what apartments are now in
Oh,
New
it's
York?
insane. Oh, please. And 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 it's in filthy gross. They're gross. They're not even anything. They're literally the size of this office.
That's
Some
what I heard. They're just small rooms with a
small little
bed.
rooms. Yep. And you
That's
have
it.
like a toilet right there, and then you'll have a little tiny the kitchen's just, where you could stand and cook right next to your bed. I mean, it's just, oh, no.
The one part I look at is that it says about poor money management. I'm wondering in high school, do they even teach anything about finance anymore?
Absolutely not.
See, I
Unless
don't.
you take, I don't know. I remember, I mean, they didn't want, that is actually one of the biggest arguments that a lot of people are having, is school is not teaching children real life. So college degrees are still about
Yeah, I
35%.
like this. Yeah, college are still about 35%, so 70% or so don't have college degrees.
No.
It's always necessary attitude, learning on your own, hard work goes a long way, right?
This is
Choices. I like that. I like that choices. Right
Well,
there
no,
is the key word.
college isn't for everyone. I disagree. If
Yeah.
my daughter told me tomorrow, like she wants to do something that's creative, she said she wants to go to cosmetology school. Okay, that's gonna save me a ton of money, and I would help her open up a business, open up your own business and open a salon and have a beauty spa. Do that. That's great. Be a businesswoman, an entrepreneur.
Right.
Why does it? Not everybody has to go to college.
Yep.
It's a waste of money. I
A
think it's a
lot of it
joke,
anymore.
and they're making you. The reason why they make you feel like you're nothing when you don't go to college, it was done deliberately. All that stuff is deliberately. Not everyone's for college. There's so many other careers out there that you don't need college for.
And the money, again, it comes down to now. I was looking also, you look at living above your means,
Yeah.
so credit cards. Can you imagine what the credit card debt right now on the kids are? And I say kids, young adults, all of them
Mhm.
that are living at home that just get that credit card and they go out. And listen, when I was younger, I learned the hard way through all that. I think everybody did. Man, it was nice to look. I got six of them, and the interest rates back then were maybe 4 or 5%.
Oh my god.
Now 29,
30.
24% on a credit card debt. So example, the holidays, and I know everybody likes to give the kids a Christmas. I really do. I get that. But
Mhm.
unless you pay that baby off, as soon as you're done with the holidays and start doubling the payments, you will never get those payments. You're never going to get ahead. Never,
Yeah,
never.
I know. It's designed, I think, that way.
But
I hate to
what's it
say
going to come
that.
down to? What's it going to come down to? Is it going to be the new norm? The new norm is you're not getting out of your parents' house till 30.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think or you meet somebody, and together
Right.
they do
It's
it placid, it's not automatic.
listen to the parents' hardness of life. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down. A lot of it comes down to that. Mike moved out when he was 16. Yeah, you did, Mike. You never came back. He did too, but he had a business of his own.
That's
He had
courageous.
he built houses. He was a
Yeah.
tree cutting business and everything. There again,
Uh-huh.
you had those opportunities when he was young and we were all young. You could do a side job and really make good money on top.
Yeah.
But then what happens is getting married. Like I DJ for 30 years here. So I had a young couple come over and I was talking to them. They're engaged and they're getting married in October next year. So I said, okay, where he's living? They said they're both living at home.
Oh,
She's living at her mom's, he's living at there. I was like, okay. And they said because in Flemington, New Jersey, all the homes, those new apartments, everything put up are over $3,000 a month. And
right.
that doesn't include everything. So
Yeah.
they're saving up right now for when they do get married, they can finally get a place. And after thinking about it, oh, Jesus, in Hunterdon County, it depends on which areas you live in, Pennsylvania or New Jersey.
Yeah.
You really get nailed and nailed.
Oh, yeah.
Um, let's see, no education, barely can read, the 22 years in prison, now making $20 an hour.
See?
There he goes. The heck with college. Yeah, I guess so,
It's
right?
was the way. Listen, can I be honest? Almost
Yeah.
every successful person that I know, maybe 98% of every successful person I know has no college education.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it
some
just
don't
got
even have a high school. Some of them immigrated here, and they're the most successful people, wealthiest and successful people I know.
yeah.
So that says a lot.
I just think even when you get married, when they're in their 20s or 30s, it's got to be the same way because you live above your means and you just continue to pay, but now it just doubles. So now what happens is if they can't afford it, now they move back home with their children or with their significant other. Now they're living at home too.
Mhm.
So it's like another domino effect over and over. And the way the job market is, people are getting laid off. What do you say to your child? I don't know. I look at it and I just say, I feel bad because things were different. I always say back in the day, but back in the day it was different, you
Things were
know.
affordable.
And
Yeah.
when is the interest rates? You've been working with housing for a while. When is the interest rates going to come down? Nobody in their 20s, unless you got a lot, I'm sure you know this for a fact, right? Unless you have a lot of money to put down on a house, you're going to get one right now.
Oh, yeah, unless you have money and there's people fighting for houses, the same house, so whoever gives the highest offer gets the
So
house.
even now, the highest offer right
Yeah,
now.
pretty much, there's no inventory. There's practically no inventory. There's not much selection out there. Some people are settling
So
too.
why do you think rent
And that's why
at
people now go into renting. So now renting's going up because there's a demand for rentals, and they don't even have that really. And that's
but
why all these apartments are going up now in PA. You see all these apartments. They're
yeah, but
being
do you think it has to be that much? Is it the cost of having a house to rent it out? Or I don't
if you think about it, a mortgage is about 2 grand a month. So maybe that's
yeah,
what they're doing. They're making it like as if it's I don't know. And because the
yeah,
apartments are new now, they're building all these new apartments so they can justify that price and say
right.
this we could charge this. These are brand new apartments.
I can tell this is a good subject for Thurston.
Yeah.
The opportunities are there. You have to do them. Be humble, grind through. That's what I did. Was fun sometimes, but it was worth it. Young people don't seem to want to work dirty jobs. They also never taught budgeting. And there again, we talked about that. A budgeting sheet. And
Yeah.
and I and if it's not excuse me, if it's not taught in school, then I think it's got to come down to the parents.
Yeah, they're the first teachers for the children. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, with me growing up, I hustled. I was a hustler. When I was 10
Yeah,
years old, I had a paper route. I had a bike with a little basket in the front, and I delivered the papers in Bayside, Queens, and
yeah.
I was making $50 a week at 10 years old. I went and bought my own roller skates from Toys R Us. I walked to Toys R Us and bought my first pair of roller skates. They were $32. And I've always hustled. When I turned 13, I started babysitting. I was
See,
making
that's a big thing.
$3 an hour babysitting, or 5, I don't remember. I washed
Wow.
hair at a salon when I was 15. I hostess cashiered at restaurants. I worked at KB Toys. I always had a job. I always worked. And then I started waitressing. I put myself through college with waitressing, paid for my master's. Like, I think that there's jobs out there. It's people
Right.
are lazy too. People don't want to do certain jobs.
But and Thurston was saying that, and I agree. I agree with that. To do on the side, like even a side job, to be able to get ahead, on there. Mike says the only thing schools teach today it's okay to change your gender.
Yeah, right.
That's
Today, definitely.
that's wow. That's a
Yeah,
true one there.
that's
That's we're on Fox News tonight, baby. But that's I'm not even going to go there. Here we
no,
go
I
with that.
know.
But
It's
that's
a whole
true
other
though.
topic, right? But it is. What is school
Yeah.
now right now? It's ridiculous. It's like I
But
don't even
even when
want
the
to
kids
start.
are going to college, are they learning finances in college? Are they learning it there? Are they learning it in college? Are they learning like how many people even know about a checkbook? What is a checkbook? Because a lot of them just use these freaking things like these new apps.
Oh,
Listen, it's
it-
great. The apps are great, but
right.
there's one app that even at our work or some of the works now, even for entry level jobs, you get a cash app and you can borrow into next week's pay.
Right.
Wow, is that really thinking? Oh my God. There again,
Yes.
it opens up the door. You're borrowing and borrowing, and you got to learn how to budget your money. My mom used to teach us, and Mike will tell you, it was so funny. We had envelopes. You had the envelope system. We used to have like 20 envelopes. Each one was written on there from a haircut to the rent and every week you always got 101s and 10s and 5s, and you broke it all the way down, and then you could just do it. But by doing that, that really saved a lot of well, it saved a lot of money, and you could go out and buy something and not feel bad about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there again, it was a teacher. I mean, your parents that were teaching you, but some parents,
Yeah.
you see it on TV, they complain that their kids don't want to get out of the house.
You know
That
what though, David? Let's go back to the checks. You think those are even gonna they need them anymore to even know how to write a check?
no, I write. You
I
know
still
what?
write checks too, but do they need them anymore?
I took a lot of the stuff offline that I was paying online, right? Where you just get
Mhm.
that money taken out. I was like, you
Automatic,
know
yeah.
what? I went off of all that. So now I get all my bills again. I write my checks. I do all that. I guess because I want to know where all my money's going, where our money is. It's just where our
Right,
money's going.
right.
Because before you know it, you're like, okay, what was that 75? Okay, what was that 100? What was this? You're like, holy crow, they start taking that stuff right out of direct deposit. You don't even know if some people would look back on their paychecks. You need to check them sometimes because you'll
Oh,
be like,
we
what the
always
heck? Yeah, or your checking account.
yeah,
What
we
the heck is that? You don't even realize it,
but then you know how they get you? They'll say your cell phone bill is going to be $10 less if you do direct deposit. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, not direct, or automatic withdrawal.
Right.
So obviously I'm gonna do that because, cell phone bills today are not cheap.
No, and I like this about Thurston. I was going to bring this up. So we eat
Right.
hot dogs, spaghetti, and pancakes. We're doing that now.
Yeah,
But my
people
point
are
there is
doing
what I
that
like.
now.
Well, no, they talked about it here. That was one of the things I was going to bring up because the new generation with all these apps of delivering food,
Yeah,
like I can have McDonald's delivered to my house right now from Grubhub. So
double
it's
the
not only
price.
$17 for a meal. Now you're going to add 10 to 15 just to
Right,
bring it to my home.
right.
And instead of making something at home, when you know
Mhm.
you can't afford it,
That's
but
right,
when McDonald's is a freaking at 9 o'clock at night, what
right.
the heck? But everybody's doing
Lazy,
it in
we're
the younger
creating a
generation.
lazy world, a lazy society, lazy people. We are creating that, and it's
Yeah,
happening at such a rapid pace. I'm a firm believer in cooking. Dave, you know me. I love cooking. I cook all
right.
my food because today everything is poisoned. I make everything from scratch, and my
Right.
kids, eat very healthy. And I'm telling you, it's cheaper to go and buy stuff to cook at home.
Yeah, anymore it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Go buy chicken cutlets, even organic, like chicken breasts. You get a whole thing for what, $12, 15, whatever it is.
right.
$15, you go home and you could eat 5 times that chicken. You could
Yep,
eat it, or 5 people could eat. So it makes some rice. It is
yep.
just cheaper.
Kenny, then this is true. I pay my bills online, but still use my checkbook register to track my spending.
Right.
It is because I used to sit down and I'd be like, you remember all those days? You'd be with your calculator. Oh my God, I don't know. It was just, I don't know how we learned. We didn't learn that in school. I just think it was brought to you by
No.
your parents and workers, and you just knew. Like now, to get a car loan, everybody can get a car loan. It doesn't matter who you are. Oh, it's only $500-600 a month. When
Right.
you that's a friggin' that's a huge payment out of your paycheck
Yes.
that now you can't pay rent because you got a $600 car payment instead of
Yes.
getting a used car. I
Right.
never got I never got a new car until many years later. I
Right.
was
Same with
always
old
always
cars.
used.
Me too. Old car,
Always.
so learned how to drive on it, got stuck on the road, learned
Yep.
about cars. These kids have no clue probably where their gas tank is or something.
Right.
I don't think they know how to maybe even lift the hood. Good for you, Kenneth.
That's right. I
That's
cook
so
all my food. See, that's what it's
good.
about, and I guarantee
Right.
it's a lot healthier.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yes,
Jesus,
comfort is like gold
you
to
know.
people now.
Yep.
Yes, it is. It has always been cheaper to eat at home than out. And also to go back to the cars, the quality of the cars are so
Yeah.
cheap, but yet they're
Cheap.
paying the price that they're selling the cars at. I mean, you'd think they'd be better quality.
Right. And that's what I wanted. Like when we look at a car payment now, we have our one car payment that's going to be paid off
Right.
finally. And I'm like, we're like, do we get another car? We're like,
Because then you
no,
need a
you know
new
what?
car by the time you pay it off. The way
But
they make
that's what I
that.
mean. That's what I mean. So I'm like, no, let's take let's take a friggin' year break and enjoy that car without no payment.
Can
You
someone
know?
does anybody know? Mom was the greatest person to budget. Oh,
Oh my God. He's not joking. I'm telling you, we all had the envelope system.
that's awesome. I should start
Oh,
something like that here. I mean, what? If you think about it, like back in the day, I mean, $20 went a long way.
yeah.
All this money went a long way for people. You could get a lot
Yeah.
more.
And then one of the other things here is, and I get it, some of the things that just come up, and one of them's losing a job.
Right.
And, some families have been hit hard with that. And it goes out, you got to feel right now to where people that have lost their jobs right now during the holidays, it's always, you don't like to hear that when companies are doing layoffs around the holidays. I always wish they would friggin' wait till after the damn friggin' New Year to
Yeah.
lay 25 people off. There's no reason to do it 2 weeks before the holidays. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get worked up on that freaking subject.
Right.
But I've seen them. They lay them off right this week. You'll see on LinkedIn, you'll see friggin' people that just get friggin' laid off this week.
I
And you're
didn't know
like, are you?
this. I didn't know they do it before. Don't they need the
Oh,
people
some of
on
them will
the
do it.
holidays? I thought that you need the people on the holidays more.
Well, some of them, and listen, it's okay to lay if a company needs to lay off. I get it. That's the way business is. You got things to do, but to lay them off before the holiday when they can wait 2 to 3 weeks, it's not going to hurt. Get through the New Year in January and then lay them off. But my point there is, when you take a 25 or 26 years old that just got out on their own, they're doing really well, and now in today's market, they get laid off, and now they're only going to make what, $500, not even a week,
Right.
so now what do you do when your child or their family,
Mhm.
they can't pay their bills? Because what's going to happen is when they can't pay their bills, guess what? That means their credit rating. And we've talked
Right.
about this a lot. Credit ratings, holy crap,
I
they'll
know.
never get out of it. And then they'll never be able to get a home because I think a lot of and I get it, I
Too.
understand it, but
They look
a
at your
lot of the renters, they check your background and your credit check.
Mhm.
Kenny says, I don't write checks, Harley, but then he says, please call me Kenny. All of my friends call me Kenny, even Dave.
I prefer Kenny, yes. I'm
All right, all right.
Used cars are still pretty inexpensive. It's
Yeah.
often people maintain that they get pissed when they break down. I
And
mean,
that's true.
do you remember, does he remember what is cars used to last up to what, 200 mile,
The
200?
100,000 back in the day, that was back in the day.
Oh,
You
it was
always got
even
rid of them,
higher
but
than
now,
yeah,
it's higher. Now it's a lot higher, but
yeah,
still, the cost of the breaking down. I remember that. That's why AAA. I pay for AAA. We still
yeah,
have, because
yeah,
the car, it's a Toyota. It's never going to really break down. The chances.
right.
But now that it's older, I still have it on there just in case, because my wife or my child, that's a choice. And I think, oh,
Right.
look at that. Look at choices again. Look at that. He's reading my friggin' mind.
Again.
Thurston, you're bringing my mind. When it comes down to choices, I choose to pay for AAA to, if my daughter or in case my son was to get, they're broken down, or your wife, you just call up, they're taken home. Again, that's a choice.
You know what? When with this just come into my head, since credit cards existed, since they became in existence,
Right.
that ruined everyone because you're not seeing the money. You're using a card.
Right.
And a lot of people just are very sloppy with that. If you had the
Yep.
actual cash all the time in your pocket, you're more likely not to break that 100 or that 50. You're less likely to spend as much. So the whole credit card thing, that's what kids need to learn. They need to learn and not to spend on things you don't really need,
That's what I mean.
right?
I always
We
listen, I
spend
go to the store now.
recklessly. Huh?
It is. My son, he always laughs at me because I'm like, all right, we'll put something in the cart. Then I'm like, hmm, do I really, really need that? And I'll be like, no, I don't. I'll put it back. I'll be like, I'll be like, damn, because Amazon, let's face it, it's so easy
It is.
at your
Home
tips of your
pay,
finger.
yeah, it's right yep.
And even Amazon will give you 0% interest.
Yeah,
They'll,
a free
they-
Prime, you get Prime, you have no
yep.
delivery fee, you
But
know?
then another, oh, we got a couple, let's see. Oh, Thurston, mine's still at 140,000. Mike, tell it, ma'am. She's ready to go. But another thing that we didn't bring up was, you know, childcare. We've talked about this before.
Oh my
How
god.
can how can a single mother of 25 with one child making 30,000 a year, 35, even with child support, let's just say she gets some child support,
Mhm.
there is no way that that child, young lady, can get out on her own unless she goes into the system, which, that's another show. But the system's there to help, and I
Yeah,
think you'll agree with that. The system is there for help.
just to help get you on your
It's
feet.
get you on the feet, but if you abuse it, that's what just takes a lot out. And there again, you you oh god, how can you say no to your child if it's not really their fault?
Right. But I'm telling you, Dave, there are jobs out there. It has to do with
Right.
your work ethics. It has to do with not being lazy.
Right.
If your motivation is to make money, you would do. There's jobs out there.
Yeah.
There are.
Part-time. There's jobs
There's so
part-time.
many jobs out
Yep.
there.
I
There's
know a guy that pumps gas every weekend. I work with him. He pumps Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and he takes all that money right now, those 3 days worth of work. He doesn't. They take that check and they put it to pay off their bills right now.
right,
He's trying to get out of debt because he knows he's way over. So
right.
when you think about it, if you don't take that money and you pay off that credit card, maybe then you'll be able to afford rent.
Mhm.
But still 2 to 3,000. I look at that and look at the military. That's probably the safest bet we could tell our kids now. Just go in the military for at least 3 to 4 years. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay nothing.
Right. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
who not everybody, is fit for the military.
I
Not
know.
everybody, wants their kids to go there. It's a certain type of person is wired a certain way to want to go to the military,
Yep.
you know.
But then,
Um,
God, there's so many things. And then look, what do I have here? Oh, well, when you're living at home, that just brings in a lot of problems because now you're talking privacy. Now
right.
you're talking with your parents. They've lived without you for so long, or they want you out. Now, if you're lazy, listen, the child, the kid, I don't know what the hell you got to do. You can't kick them out because where are they going to go?
Imagine having a freeloader in your home. Like you want them to pull their weight in the house. They have to pull their weight. So
Oh
whatever it
my
is,
God.
Dave is the model
Yep.
dad. Is yep.
There was a model dad because he limits his son on cell phones and games. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Mike, that's Marissa. She does that. But there again,
Yeah. It's a
yeah, he's learning budgets already with DJing. He's coming out to me. I'm paying him. He wants a little bit more money, but I'm like, no, 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 no.
yeah.
You're friggin' 14 years old, Kenny, I'm still driving my 2000 Toyota Camry.
Oh
See,
wow.
360,000. Jesus.
Oh, you saved a lot of money. And
Yeah.
23, 24 years ago. Very good.
But no, I look at even new couples getting married now, the sacrifice that
Mhm.
they need to do.
It's a huge sacrifice, and
It
I
is.
think that what needs to, I think again, it stems from the home. Work
Yep.
ethics, your parents are a role model. You have to teach them, but the problem is that a lot of parents don't know. They don't know
Right.
because they're in a mess. I
Yep.
know a family that was paying for their kids' college, so they weren't paying their taxes on their house because they couldn't afford it. So they let that go, their mortgage and their taxes to pay for the college. Now that is not smart. You're not teaching your son smart ways to work with money.
Right.
They see, or your daughter, when you're sending them to college but not paying your home, that's not showing them the right way. Let them go to college, take out a loan the way everybody else. Why would you put yourself in debt? That's not smart.
No.
It's not a smart
And
financial move.
I don't know. It comes down to, again, we've talked, I feel a lot, the parenting. I think the parenting isn't going to end now. If you have children at home, if it's not out of their norm, the reasons why. There's emergencies, listen, there's things, spouses, your
Of
spouse
course.
passes away. You know,
Yeah.
how does a mother, I look at a mother again, I go back to that, but even a single father, there's a single father that has to pay childcare, which is norm, but then he's also got the expenses of living also.
And he
And
needs help, right.
he needs help. So he's going to have to get another job. I hate when I have to say that, but he's going to have to get a job too. If something, you know, the judge would even told me, get
Yeah,
another job,
yeah,
get another job,
yeah.
you know?
Or you sell
Um,
everything and you move back home with, I don't know, roommates as parents. This is great.
yes,
Sounds pretty good.
especially you. Thanks, Thurston. You could
Thank
tell
you,
it.
Kristen.
Yeah. You
Thank
could tell that really got to him tonight too about it because you don't know. And wow, geez, we made our 35, 40-minute mark. That was pretty quick.
you. Nice.
That wasn't bad. But no, if I had to sum it up, my words to sum it up would be is, you know, early education, maybe go
Yeah,
back to the schools. The parents are going to have to continue finance with your children, managing their costs, showing them what they can afford. Because a lot of the parents, just like you sacrificed a lot to get where you're at today.
correct.
You know, everybody says, "Oh, well, my rent's only 1,000, or my mortgage is only $1,000 a month," but I've lived here for freaking 25 years.
Right.
You know, that was 25 years ago. But and it was started out at 500. Now it's at 1,000. But even 1,000, you say, "Wow!" But that's because we sacrificed all these years to get what we have now. And then what do you say to that 24, 25? I think you really need to be more firm with the children, educate them, show them what living without means. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you that you can't buy that new car.
Mhm.
There's nice cars out there, Toyotas. There's a lot of cars that you can get a payment for $200-300 a month versus do you need that frigging truck if you can't afford it? Now, if you can't afford it, if it fits in your budget, that's great. You know, this is your budget you got, but you better be prepared to live like that. Because if you don't have that emergency fund, and that's some, I think we can talk on another show, is if you don't have that emergency fund later on, that's going to be going to hurt you.
Well, that's what you said about choices. You know, I'm not from here. I moved here
Yeah,
from New York. Look, everybody knows the cost of living is very expensive in New York. We
right,
couldn't afford a home there. So I made a choice. My choice was to go move someplace, not close, far, but still close enough, but affordable. So I
right.
moved here so that I could have the opportunity to stay home with my kids
Kids.
and
Yeah,
raise them, be the one to raise them. I would not have been able to do that if I stayed in New York. I was
right.
a school teacher in New York, and I would not have been able to do that.
On that, Mike
Uh,
says, first time I heard Joanna, she has my utmost respect. Great show. All right, thank you
I've heard
guys.
about you, Mike.
Yeah, right. He's ready. So, all right, young lady. I will talk to you right after this. It was a good show.
Yes.
And I think we'll follow it up with another one. I told you
So
about
hey,
this
we
new
should
book.
tell parents, educate your little kids, educate them on saving money.
Oh,
It's
you know
not
what I
always
do with
hard.
cash? Save all that change and then go to
Yeah,
that Walmart store and pour your jar in there.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's a way to save money. But thanks so much, John. I appreciate being on the show. And
Same.
we will probably be back next week's Christmas. So probably the week after. So
Yep. Happy
thanks
holidays.
everybody.
Yep.
Yep. Thanks everybody. And I'll talk to you right after this.